I have been a big fan of ThinkFun games and puzzles for a long time now, definitely since I played Rush Hour a long time ago. That is their classic puzzle, their classic logic challenge. It comes with a lot of different levels, a lot of different challenges, and it's just absolutely delightful. Also, recently I played Solitaire Chess by ThinkFun again, and that I also enjoyed, and that is the subject of another video of mine. In this video, I'm going to tell about two puzzles by ThinkFun. I decided to put them together for two reasons. One, because of a common element that they have, which is color, which makes them very nice looking. At the same time, of course, however, and unfortunately, makes the game unplayable by colorblind players. And the second element that these two have in common is that I find them horribly difficult. And there was at least one time when I played each of them in which I almost threw the box across the room. Which is, of course, a really good thing when you are playing a puzzle, because it means that the puzzle is challenging. Because if it's a puzzle that you almost threw the box across the room, but you didn't, then is a puzzle that has the perfect balance between just almost enough irritation to break your will, and yet not enough irritation, and so that actually it's not a deal breaker and you can keep playing. And then when you do find a solution, it's a huge, enormous release of endorphins, mega boost. Color Cube Sudoku and Color Fold. They're two logic puzzles. Because of that, they're technically solitaire, but at the same time, of course, you could also have multiple players playing together, trying to solve it together. This is particularly true with the Color Cube Sudoku. This one because you have a single puzzle element that a single player is manipulating. I guess you can have another player making suggestions, but it's not just as easy to play as a shared experience. Let's start with Color Fold, which in truth is pretty much the advanced and solitaire version of a game that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, which was Fold It. In Fold It, you had several of these pieces of cloth with different colors. It's a multiplayer game, that one. Each player takes a piece of cloth and then a card is flipped in the middle of the table, a pattern is formed, and players are frantically folding their piece of cloth so that only the colors on that card are visible. The first player to do so scores the card, and then you continue like this until a player has scored more points than the other. Color Fold is for only one player, but it also has another interesting element, which is it is considerably more complex, more challenges, which is fine. In a certain sense, again, you are playing a logic puzzles, probably you are committed to pain, to self-inflicted frustration in the hope of great emotional satisfaction when and if you solve the puzzle. When it's a multiplayer game, well, you want something that's not too hard because you may play with casual players. But with Color Fold, well, they went all the way, all the way out to make it as tough as you may desire it. Again, in truth, the game has 40 challenges, which are scalable, but they get complicated fast. And I don't know, maybe it's just because this deal of folding is different from other types of puzzles that you may be familiar with. I just found myself having to pretty much figure out the basics, figure out general strategies pretty much on the fly. The idea is you, the solitaire player, will choose one of these cards that go from beginner to insane, also known as expert in game terms. So you choose a challenge, say we're going to choose this one, and then you take this piece of cloth, and which is double-sided and has the same colors on both sides, so yellow. On this side, you know, it's yellow, on this side is blue with a circle and blue with a circle. And you start folding, in the attempt to make a composition, a pattern in which only those colors will be visible. They don't have to be in the specific position, although sometimes they will be. And so you just fold and fold and fold. So I want to make everything else disappear. This idea is similar to also what you have in the game Fold It. The difference here, however, is that as you may see from these lines here in this game, it is also possible to fold diagonally. So you can fold along these solid black lines or diagonally. That means that, well, you can do, for example, stuff like this. And then maybe like this. And then like that. I'm going totally random, and I don't think I'm doing anything that will help me at all. But it is to say there's a whole different spatial dimension to explore. Well, for example, if I want to put this one here on top of this one, if I'm only folding orthogonally, that'd be very hard. If I'm folding diagonally, I can do that. I can do that, and then I can make the triangles disappear, and maybe I want to make that one disappear also, and so on, and so forth. Yeah, you did half of the puzzle, and made it also impossible to solve the puzzle because this one is folded in the solution. It shouldn't. But just to give you an example of what you can do. It is also interesting that there are many challenges that only have three colors. So it's not just that, well, you have to hide more colors so that only those are visible. It is also that with the fact that the card doesn't tell you the shape of the final composition, these three may be in a straight line or maybe in an L form. I don't know if this is a spoiler or just gets you more excited, like how the heck do I do that? Exactly, it's very hard. At least it was very hard for me to figure out how to obtain the L to make the ones that require only three things. I like color fold a lot. Almost feels to me like color fold is the real thing, and in retrospect and think about fold it almost feels like fold it is the derivative. They thought, well, why don't we make a multiplayer version of that? In fact, also when playing fold it, sometimes we got lost in the puzzle and we're actually working together to solve the puzzle rather than competing. So folded is color fold. Color fold is just a colorful, well, what a platitude, yes, yet true. Little puzzle that is little, well, at the beginner's level, but can be very tough, very challenging at the higher levels. This is as opposed to Rush Hour, which definitely is a game that the easiest challenges, well, a 5-year-old could play, and the hardest challenge it takes an adult. I think that here it gets adult fast. Again, maybe just the way my brain is wired, but I find this pretty challenging. I still have not completed all the challenges, but definitely enjoyed taking the challenges, and I will play more in the future. So colorful, and just fun and challenging. But that is nothing compared to how challenging Color Cube Sudoku is. It has 2 trillion combination, more than 500,000 solution, which makes me feel very sad because it took me hours to find one solution. The fact that there is another 500,000 that I'm missing and I have no idea how to get there is just sad. Color Cube Sudoku is like Sudoku. You have these cubes. Each cube has 4 colors, and each side of the cube has the 4 colors in different combinations, and you are rotating them and mixing them and matching them and placing in that position so that you'll have a 3 by 3 grid of cubes, and the top surface will show all of the colors in according to Sudoku tradition in a way that each row and each column has every color only once exactly. And if I'm not wrong, this is correct. In fact, I decided to put this plastic cover here, which comes with the game, to protect, to immortalize my achievement, because that's how hard it was to get. And now to show you the game, I'm gonna destroy my immortal achievement. I may never be able to do it again. So that's what you're trying to do. Every color in every column and row, and no repetitions. And there you go. I'm back to square one, or to cube one. Now what is interesting is that each cube has the 4 colors, but they are in different combinations. So basically means that maybe you like these two. I want to have this one on top and this one at the bottom. I like these two to be reversed with the blue on top. Well, you can just go around and chances are you'll be able to find one like that. Precisely. Remember, orange and white. but blue and red, as opposed to here we have orange. Well, we have a white and orange and white, red and blue. Or I want to have them on different opposite sides. So basically, there is that. That you decide which colors you want, and then you can shuffle things around. And it's just horribly challenging, but again, horribly in a good way, at least from me. I'm going a little bit randomly. I don't think I'm making any mistake now, but I don't think I've made any mistake yet. But I'm probably also not going very well, because I noticed that unless you plan a lot, you give it a lot of thinking, you place a couple of cubes and you feel on top of the world, and then you get stuck and you start feeling miserable. Some of you with some mathematical or engineering type of mind, that you'll be able to figure out an algorithm, you'll be able to figure out a solution. It's like when I discovered that there was a solution to the Rubik's Cube, like a certain way of doing things that would always give you the correct result, that almost crushed my heart. I thought it was about intuition and inspiration. And so maybe there is a way of quote-unquote breaking this game, of figuring out the mechanical way of doing it. I know I'm not there yet. I know to me it's still a matter of improvisation, intuition, and crying hard enough until I figure out how to do it. And okay. Wrong. Okay, after playing it for quite a while, I have come up with a couple of solutions, not solutions, but techniques, techniques that work for me, and I'm not gonna disclose them to you. Part of the fun and the grilling pain is gonna be discovering them. So there is that. If you have a friend that likes a tough challenge and likes Sudoku, well, this definitely could be a nice present. Or maybe you are that friend. Be a friend to yourself and get a copy for yourself. And actually, yes, if you have figured out a way of doing it every time, don't worry, because actually the rule book comes with extra challenges, which is if you take one of those challenges, in order to win, you will have to both follow the traditional rules and also to follow further rules, so that is to make different patterns while at the same time satisfying the traditional challenges. I don't know that any human will be able to do. Good for you if you are such a human, but also I'm sorry for you, because I don't know, the world must be a very boring place for you. In any case, I definitely like Color Cube Sudoku. I find it incredibly tough. Some of you may not, but I can only share my opinions because I am me and this is my review. The components are pleasant, they are nice, they're definitely nice to manipulate. Too bad that, again, it's not playable by colorblind players. I guess they could have gone for symbols instead of colors, but they also see how the appeal of just different colors, bright, solid colors, is mistake. And, well, it's very appealing. Mistake. Not mistake yet, but probably will. In any case, I think you get the sense. Color Cube Sudoku. So Color Cube Sudoku and Colorfold, color-based puzzles, both challenging. One more scalable, one that I find incredibly hard, just in the quote-unquote basic iteration, at the basic level. Again, one with more of a range of difficulty, one that starts tough, but definitely two nice puzzles, definitely fun puzzles that I found, as I said, on one moment or another, irritating and frustrating, but that I have to insist is good. That is precisely what I want from a puzzle, because if I don't have the moment of frustration, then there is no ha-ha moment. There's like, oh, okay, I see, sure. And I don't like that. I prefer the ha-ha moment, although there has to be an emotional investment to get there. Colorfold and Color Cube Sudoku, both difficult in different ways, both fun, both by ThinkFun.